So yeah, feel free to start whenever you'd like.
Okay. So hello, I'm Maivo. This is just kind of like a introduction to me. I'm currently interning at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center as a Pathways intern. Yeah, you can go on to the next slide. So a little bit about me. I'm a current third year computer science major at Georgia Tech. Um, I'm getting my bachelor's in computer science, and at our school, we're allowed to have concentrations. So my concentration is devices and systems architecture. So very hardware focused, and I'm from North Carolina. So obviously, like I'm doing an internship with NASA right now as a Pathways intern. I also interned with Lockheed Martin and the Aerospace Corporation in the past, and I'm a part of the Yellow Jacket Space Program which is a club on campus where we're trying to shoot a rocket to space. And I do research with Space Systems Design Lab as well. So that's just a little bit about me. You can go to the next slide, please. Okay, so a little bit about the branch that I'm working in. So I'm a part of the Avionics and Electrical Systems branch, which at NASA we have codes, and it's like code 565. Um, and I'm working particularly with the electrical and ground support equipment group. But as a result of COVID, my internship is actually virtual, and I'm now working with the Science Data Systems branch, code 586, on their work. And you can see in the picture, that's actually like a picture I found off of their website for code 565s. Uh, Kind of like the racks where they do all the computer. Basically, the idea is to test the systems. So that's basically what that branch does. But I'm working on different stuff this semester. Next slide, please. Okay, so a little bit about what I'm doing. So I'm working on the Raman Space Telescope, which is a telescope to study dark matter and dark energy in the universe. And obviously, like you can use it for so many other reasons as well, such as like exoplanets and studying planets. There's a lot of different applications for this, and just like seeing the photos as well. So Raman Space Telescope was actually originally called W First, but they renamed it after Nancy Grace Raman. And as you can see in the picture in the middle, so this is kind of like the view of the Raman Space Telescope. So its original name was the Wide Field Instrument, and so you can see in that little corner on the top left where you can see like Hubble. That's basically Hubble's view. That's what Hubble can see, and the RST can basically see that whole thing. So definitely, like this telescope is going to have so much more application for uh, viewing new discoveries and just even pictures. So what I'm currently doing is writing code to find the defects in photos that the RST is going to take. So they're in the process of picking out the instruments, but I'm writing the code to kind of like filter out. So, say for example, if the Raman Space Telescope takes a picture, there's obviously going to be defects in that photo. It might be a completely black photo. Who knows? And the picture on the top right, you can see that's like a filtered out photo. That's actually a photo from Hubble. But in order for you to see that photo, you'd have to take out all of the defects. And that's basically what I'm doing, photoshopping astronomical photos. Um, yeah, next slide, please. Okay, so I'll go into what the Pathways program is. So Pathways is basically a co-op program with NASA. Um, you rotate with them for at least 2 rotations, unless you're going to graduate the next year, then you can go ahead and convert to full time. But that's essentially the idea is that you work for them for a couple of semesters. Then after you graduate, you convert to full time. Obviously, that depends on how you work in your departments and what your managers think of your work. But that definitely gives you a way to get into the federal government. And it's pretty much a given that each rotation that you work with NASA, you'll get an increase in pay. That just depends on like your credit hours and what they see fit. And you can also switch to different departments within each rotation. So I'm working with code, say 565 right now. My next rotation, I can choose to switch to a different department and learn something new. And I think that's pretty amazing. That's pretty nice. Now I have the choice to do that. And some of the benefits of being a Pathways intern is you can get tuition assistance. So what this basically means is that NASA will help you with your tuition. Uh, for each semester that you ask for tuition assistance, you're required to do at least 6 months of work for NASA full time after you graduate. So if I ask, say if I have 4 semesters left, I ask for 4 semesters and of tuition assistance, I'll be required to work 2 years for NASA essentially after I graduate. Obviously, I'm not entirely sure what how much tuition you get. I think that's definitely based on your circumstance and how much they're willing to give you. There may actually be a cap, but that's essentially the overall thing. And there's a lot of government benefits to working at NASA as a Pathways intern or even as a regular intern. Um, so a lot of health benefits, a lot of financial benefits. You can start saving for your 401k and everything. So that's definitely a plus there. And another thing about NASA, um, so from the time you start as a Pathways intern, you can stay with NASA as long as you graduate within a certain time frame. So it's different for each degree level. For example, bachelor's. I'm taking my bachelor's. I since I started this semester, I need to finish. I need to graduate within 6 years of starting my Pathways program, and yeah, and if I exceed that 6 years, then I'll be kicked out of the program. But I have 2 years left, so it won't be a problem. And it's different for like masters and PhDs as well. So it's all depending on that. So yeah, next slide, please. So that's pretty much it. Do you have any questions? I can go into more information about how I got the internship too. If anyone wants to hear that.
Yeah, so the first question we actually got was how do you apply to the NASA Pathways program?
Okay, awesome. So I applied to the Pathways program through USA Jobs, not the NASA intern portal. I think that portal is specifically just for interns, and the USA Jobs portal is for pathways and like full time careers. So I submitted on there. You had to make your own resume, like you just wrote everything out. I don't think I inserted my resume. I may have, but yeah. So that I applied using that, and I was given an email a couple of months later about it was like they said, "Oh, like you're being considered, you're being forwarded to like another like level," and that was like the first thing I heard. And then I started hearing back from my interviewers. Um, for example, I So it's very interesting. The Pathways program, like the way you interview with Pathways, you can get interviewed by multiple departments, and for like that one semester. So I was interviewed by two departments, and by the end of my interview with the second department, they asked me which department I preferred to work for, and I have to be honest, that made me really uncomfortable. I was like, I have to tell you which department I prefer working for, but the reasoning was they actually talk with each other, and they're like, oh, this student is better fit for this, then you can tab them, and then we'll take like someone else type of thing. So yeah, I thought that was very interesting the way they did that. That was nice for me since I was able to choose
Our
which
next
pathway.
question was, how selective is the program?
Um, I don't know if I can speak on that. I don't know what the statistics are. I haven't looked at any statistics. But I would assume that the program is pretty selective. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that apply to NASA in general, to the Pathways program. So I can't give any numbers for that.
All right, so our last question we got is, what internship do you hope to do after this one?
Hmm, that's a great question. I feel like that's something I'm kind of like debating myself, but I have to do at least another rotation with NASA sometime in the future. But I would really love to work for like in the commercial space industry for SpaceX, Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic. I feel like those are kind of like my next target companies that I'm going to try to intern at after NASA.
That's all the questions we have, so thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I really love what you guys are doing.